She had been hunting him long before he ever knew her name. But what shocked people was not that she got caught, it was how far she had gone to get there, how long she had planned, how many men she had tried before him, and how close she had come to pulling the whole thing off. Let's get you how it all started, because it wasn't just the night. Her name is Donna. Grew up in Crest Point, a small coastal town where the wind always smelled like salt and old wood. No mother, no father, just an old woman named Miss Patrice who took her in at 4 and made her earn every meal. When Donna was 16, Miss Patrice died of a stroke, and the house went to a nephew who gave her 1 week to leave. So Donna learned the seashore, ran errands and jobs just to eat. She was never lazy, but no matter how hard she worked, she stayed poor. The kind of poor where your shoes have holes and you pray it doesn't rain. She had one friend, a girl named Brenda, who worked at the small copy shop near the water. Brenda was the one who left old magazines and newspapers on the dock bench for Donna to read when things were slow. It was Brenda, without even knowing it, who changed Donna's entire life. Donna sat on her usual fish crate waiting for the early boats to come in. A folded newspaper was on the bench beside her. She picked it up just to have something to do with her hands. The story was on page 4. A man named Cliff Holt, a real estate developer worth $38 million, had been ordered by a court to pay his former girlfriend $9,000 a month in child support. The woman was not his wife. She had never been his wife. They had dated for 5 months. But she had his child, and now, by law, he had to pay. Donna read the article 3 times. $9,000 every month for 18 years. She did the math on the back of a napkin. She did it twice because she didn't trust herself the first time. Close to $2 million for 1 child. She sat very still on that crate for a long time. The boats came in, men shouted about the catch, seagulls screamed overhead. Donna heard none of it. She had spent her whole life trying to earn money the honest way, and she was still eating leftover chowder that restaurants threw out at closing. But this woman in the newspaper, this woman had done just one thing, and now a court of law made a millionaire hand her money every single month until her child grew up. Donna folded the newspaper slowly and held it in her lap. Donna's mind worked fast when it needed to, and right now it was working very fast. Rich men existed, that she knew. Even in Crest Point, she had seen them pull up in clean cars and rent the big beach houses for the summer. And some of them, the article made clear, were careless. Then she thought about $9,000 a month. Over the next few weeks, she read everything she could find about child support law. Brenda let her use the computer at the copy shop after hours. Donna learned about paternity suits. She learned about how courts calculated payments based on income. She learned that the richer the man, the bigger the number. She also learned something else, something that sealed it for her completely. The woman in the article had not done anything illegal. The court had not charged her with anything. She had simply had a child, proven who the father was, and let the law do the rest. She was eating crackers on the dock and watching the water go dark when she made the decision. She was done being poor. She was going to move to the city, she was going to find a rich man, and she was going to have his child. She told Brenda she was leaving. Brenda hugged her and said to be careful. Donna smiled and said she would. Hope you enjoy our tales. It's another one from us to you. Please keep the comment section busy on how you found us, how you feel about our stories, where you're watching from, what the day is like over there. Share, subscribe, like, let's vibe it all together. She got off the bus in Harlow City with $43, a backpack, and a plan that felt airtight. It took Donna 3 days to find a room she could afford. It was on the 4th floor of a building on Crane Street where the elevator never worked, and someone always seemed to be frying fish at midnight. The landlord was a short man named Pete who charged her first and last month up front and didn't ask questions. She paid him with almost everything she had and told herself it was an investment. She found waitress work inside a week. The restaurant was called Markers, a mid-range place near the business district that got a decent lunch crowd on weekdays. The tips weren't great, but the location was exactly what she needed. Men in suits came in, men who wore watches that cost more than her rent, men who ate alone and checked their phones between bites and never looked at the waitress as a person. Donna looked at all of them. She was 20 now. She had grown into herself, tall and lean with sharp eyes and a smile she had learned to turn on and off like a light switch. She knew she was pretty. She had always known. On the seashore, it hadn't mattered much. Here, she understood it was a resource. She spent 3 months just watching, learning how the city worked, learning which bars the wealthy crowd went to after work, learning how women dressed in those places and how they talked and how they moved. She saved every extra dollar and bought 2 decent outfits from a resale shop on Morris Avenue. She practiced in the small mirror above the bathroom sink until she looked like she belonged somewhere she had never been. Then Brenda, back in Crest Point, mentioned something during one of their phone calls. "I heard there are these private clubs," Brenda said, not knowing the full weight of what she was saying. "Like matchmaking things, for rich men who don't want to use dating apps because they're afraid of being recognized." Donna asked her to say more. Brenda didn't know much, just that a woman she knew in the city had gotten into one through a referral. Donna spent 2 weeks tracking that thread down. She asked careful questions. She was patient. Eventually, she got a name, a woman named Gold who ran what she called the Social Introduction Service out of a suite on the 12th floor of an office building downtown. Gold was in her 50s, polished, professional. She wore reading glasses on a chain and spoke like a woman who had seen everything and was surprised by nothing. "I screen all my clients," Gold told Donna at their first meeting, "the men and the women. I don't run anything dirty. I make introductions. What happens after is between 2 adults." Donna nodded and said she understood completely. She paid Gold's registration fee, $400 she had been carefully saving, and became part of the network. The first man she met through Gold was a developer named Carl, 51 years old, divorced. He had money in commercial real estate and a way of laughing too loud at his own jokes. They had dinner twice. On the third meeting, Donna made her intentions clear. Carl was willing. He was also, as Donna discovered, someone who never went anywhere without protection and was careful in a way that made her plan difficult. Nothing happened. She moved on. The second man was named Walter. Younger, 43, he owned several car dealerships across the county. He was warm and a little lonely, and Donna felt something close to guilt when she was around him. She pushed the guilt down. She focused. But Walter canceled their third dinner because his ex-wife had called about their kids, and he said he needed some time. He never called back. She moved on again. By this point, Donna had started doing her own research. She had read online about ovulation windows and fertility medications, the kind that weren't prescription only. She ordered 2 different supplements from a website that promised to increase the chances of conception. She took them carefully, on schedule, tracking everything in a small notebook she kept hidden inside her mattress. She was going to be ready when the moment came. The third man was a retired attorney named Cliff. This Cliff was 60 and heavy and talked about his money constantly in a way that made it clear he wanted people to be impressed. Donna was very impressed, outwardly. She drugged him. She wasn't proud of it, but she had found something online, a mild sedative that some people put in drinks, just enough to relax a person, not enough to knock them out. She used a very small amount. She was careful, and she told herself it wasn't really different from what some of those rich men had probably done to women over the years. Cliff got drowsy over dinner. They went back to his place, and then came the problem Donna had not planned for. Cliff, it turned out, was impotent. Had been for years, he eventually mumbled, half asleep. Had a condition, took medication that didn't always work. Very sorry, very embarrassing. Donna sat on the edge of his couch at 11 o'clock at night and looked at the wall. She went home. The next was Stan, who took her to a simple motel. On their way going in, a security personnel notified Stan that he needed to park right. He left the room keys with Donna and asked her to go on in. When she opened the room door, on the bed lay different tools and toys that which Donna didn't think would go down well with her. She left through the back door and never met him again. She sat in her room on Crane Street and stared at the ceiling and thought about quitting. Not the plan, the whole city, all of it. She was tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. She had been trying for almost a year. She had spent money she didn't have. She had smiled at men she didn't like. She had swallowed her feelings so many times she wasn't sure she had any left. But then she thought about her past, the fish crates, the holes in her shoes. She was not going back to that. She called Gold the next morning and said she was ready to meet someone new. Gold said she had someone in mind, a man named Gerald, self-made, manufacturing money, very private, very particular. He doesn't meet many people, Gold said, but I think you two would get along. Donna wrote the name down in her notebook, Gerald. She circled it once. Then she went to the bathroom mirror and practiced her smile. She decided she would only take Gerald too fast if he should give same energy as Gold told her he meets people once in a long while. The day came for them to meet. Donna put on her best look and composure, and trick too. She was sitting across from Gerald Moore at a window table at Harlow City's most expensive steakhouse, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she was close. Gerald was not what she expected. She had pictured someone like Carl or Walter, loud or lonely or obvious in some way she could work with. Gerald was none of those things. He was 55, medium build, with close-cut gray hair and quiet eyes that didn't miss much. He wore a simple dark suit with no tie, no flashy watch, no loud laugh. He asked her questions and actually listened to the answers, which made her more nervous than the men who only talked about themselves. He had built his money in industrial manufacturing, parts for heavy equipment mostly. Dry work, he said, but it paid well. He had one daughter in college in Atlanta. He had been divorced for 6 years and didn't seem bitter about it. Donna was a bit more careful now. She was warm, but not too warm. Interested, but not desperate. She had rehearsed this version of herself many times. By the end of dinner, Gerald suggested they continue the evening at the Aldren Hotel 2 blocks away. He said it casually, like it was just an idea. Donna said that sounded fine. Her heart was hammering the whole walk over. They checked in. The room was on the 9th floor, clean and wide with city lights pressing against the window. Gerald poured 2 glasses of water from the nightstand, set his phone and wallet on the dresser, and said he was going to shower. The bathroom door clicked shut. Donna stood still for exactly 3 seconds. Then she moved. She had come prepared. In the small inside pocket of her purse was a sewing needle she had wrapped in tissue. She had thought about this moment for weeks. She had read that a small enough hole in the right place would not be visible to the naked eye, but would compromise everything. She found the foil packet on the nightstand where Gerald had set it down. She did not open it. That was the careful part. Leave the seal intact, leave everything looking untouched. She pressed the needle through the foil 4 times in different spots, small punctures, barely anything. She tucked the needle back into her purse and set the packet down exactly as it had been. Then she sat on the edge of the bed and waited. She could hear the shower running. Steam was starting to creep under the bathroom door. She looked at the city lights through the window and told herself that this was almost over, that after tonight everything would start moving in the right direction. She would confirm the pregnancy. She would get a lawyer. She had already looked up 2 family law attorneys whose numbers were saved in her phone under fake names. She was so close. The shower turned off. A few minutes passed, then Gerald came out in a white hotel robe, hair still damp. He was calm, easy. He picked up his glass of water and drank from it slowly, looking at the nightstand. He looked at the packet. He picked it up. Donna watched him turn it in his fingers. Her stomach tightened. She told herself he was just being careful, that he couldn't possibly see anything. The holes were microscopic. She had been precise. Gerald set the packet down. Then he reached into the inside pocket of his suit jacket, which was hanging on the chair near the dresser. He pulled out his phone. "Give me just 1 minute," he said. His voice was completely even. He tapped the screen a few times, then he turned the phone around and showed it to her. It was a video, shot from a small camera positioned somewhere near the dresser. She never even saw it. The angle caught the nightstand clearly. It caught her hands. It caught the needle going in and coming out. It caught her setting the packet back down and putting the needle away. Every second of it. Donna's mouth went dry. "I've had that camera for 2 years, Gerald said. He still sounded calm, almost tired. "You're not the first person to try something in a hotel room." He called the front desk. He called the police after that. He was polite and precise with both calls. He sat in the chair near the window while they waited, and he did not look at her with anger. He looked at her the way someone looks at a problem they've already solved. Donna didn't run. She didn't cry. She sat on the edge of the bed with her purse in her lap and felt something hollow open up in her chest. Not because she had been caught, but because she suddenly couldn't remember what she had told herself all those months to make this feel okay. The officers arrived in 11 minutes. They were not rough with her. They were professional. Gerald showed them the video and gave a clear statement. One of the officers explained to Donna what she was being charged with. She nodded like she already knew. She served 14 months. The facility was in the northern part of the state. The women there were not all bad people. Some were. Most were just people who ran out of better options and made the wrong call at the wrong time. She thought about the newspaper article and the number she had calculated on a napkin. She thought about Carl and Walter and the impotent man and all those months of planning and supplementing and tracking and smiling. All that effort, all that time. And she ended up in a narrow bed under fluorescent lights anyway. There was a woman in the facility named Ruth, older, heavy-set, with a calm face and a voice like she had already forgiven the world for everything. Ruth said something one Thursday that Donna couldn't shake loose. Being smart, she said, not talking to anyone in particular, can get you into places that being smart cannot get you out of. Donna sat with that sentence for weeks. She tried to answer that question honestly for the first time. Not $9,000 a month. That was what she wanted. What she needed was simpler and harder than that. She needed to stop waking up afraid. She needed to feel like the ground under her feet was solid. She needed something that was actually hers, not taken from someone, not extracted through a scheme, but hers. She was 22 years old. She had her whole life in front of her and a record behind her, and for the first time in a long time, both of those things felt true at the same time. The morning she was released, she stood outside the facility with her backpack and $40 that had been held for her during her stay. Same backpack, almost the same amount of money, but she stood differently. A bus came at 8:30. Donna got on the bus, found a seat near the window, and watched the flat land slide past as the vehicle moved south towards the city. She didn't know what she was going to do, but she knew for the first time in a long time that whatever it was going to be real. And real, she was beginning to understand, was the only thing worth building on. Do look out for more of our tales. Thank you for watching.